All right, I will call the meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Nice to see you all. Thanks for joining on Zoom this time. First order of business, let's tackle the minutes from the February meeting, which Robin sent around.
I motion to approve the February amended meeting minutes.
Actually, can I make edits?
Absolutely.
Sorry. Usually I don't have them, but I have a few this time. Apologies, I didn't get them to you in advance.
It's okay. Let me open them up. I didn't spell your name wrong, did I?
No.
Oh, good.
No.
Only one person.
Minor.
Bad enough.
Yeah, more minor.
Okay. All right. I assume under DPW or
Correct.
yeah. Okay. Yep. All right.
Yes. So it's like all in the one paragraph. So
yep.
I'll just go through it. Jay Calais shared that the state's requiring large building report. Can you change that to reporting?
Sure.
And then as a green community, this is the third sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Wakefield is already reporting this info for its municipally owned buildings. If you can just add those additional words.
Okay.
And then she noted that the state might be issuing a letter to the town for the info, again, on municipal buildings.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right.
Thank you.
So I amend my motion to include the edits that Jen just shared.
Second.
All right.
All right, Robin, please roll call for us.
Tiana.
Yes.
Melissa.
Yes.
Robin. Yes. Lillian.
Yes.
Stefan.
Yes.
Anne.
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
Christina.
Yes.
You here?
These are
You're
Yeah.
I don't see Kevin. Correct.
Agreed.
All right. Anne.
Yes.
I think you already called Anne.
She did. I could vote.
Oh, I got you twice listed. Well, there you go. Bonus. And then John is absent, correct?
And did you get Rebecca?
And then I was going to go Rebecca's next. Rebecca, do you accept her?
Can you hear me?
Oh, you're really quiet. Okay. But I got your yes. Thank you. Motion having been called, it passed.
Great. Thank you. Next we can tackle some of the ongoing topics from prior meetings. So first, I don't know if there are any updates on the school composting and food rescue. I can update on Woodville, and Melissa or others.
No updates on high school composting being delayed by no answers from Tim.
And the Woodville seems to be back on track for composting and food rescue. Things got a little hairy over the winter break, and it seems things are going smoothly again with the student council counting and putting things away after lunch. So. Oh, and Cheyenne is joining us. Hello, Cheyenne. We were just talking about school food rescue and composting. Maybe you heard that through the ether and wanted to participate. Did you have anything you wanted to contribute on that topic?
No, I mean, I think, as you know, right, the Boys and Girls Club are having a really good cadence of picking up, once a week, either Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on, their availability or the holidays, but they're doing really good.
Great.
So, and then, as you've seen the volunteer thing on Fridays as well, we're getting more volunteer. So, I think Lillian, you had some as well. So it's great. Last week we had all volunteer. I think this Friday, I think we had like 2 or 3 volunteers. So it's awesome. So we hope to keep that going. And as you know, for next year, I'm hoping to kind of get more support in that program, so to speak. And Galvin, as you know, crickets. And for the high school, it's just a matter of us talking to, the principal and going from there. Dustin is supportive of that. So we just have to do it if we want to and kickstart that process somehow.
Is that for compost or food rescue at the high school or both?
Just food rescue. Yeah, compost, I don't know. I think you guys are working on that, so I'm kind of letting the team be in charge of that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there any concern? So if Boys and Girls Club is picking up the food and then also volunteers are bringing food, is too much of it going to Boys and Girls Club?
I did ask the director that question, and she said there's actually been, she's seen a spike in need lately. And so so we'll test it out. I think if everyone drops off, I think I'll recalibrate after a couple weeks and see, what the traction, the utilization is before we make a move. But last week there was actually someone that actually dropped off at my house, which, as you know, we did set up a collection bin, just like the food drive in Melrose, where there's a cooler inside a huge storage bin on the driveway, so people can just drop it off as well. They'll text me, when they drop it off. So there was one person that did that from Greenwood, and that was actually quite, pretty good medium-sized, USPS box type. And so we just dropped it off at the shelter, actually. So it's working out pretty good. Or fingers crossed.
Wonderful. Next on the ongoing things, anything else on swaps and collections? I think Lily, you're looking into some of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't have any big updates at the moment. I'm sorry, I had been traveling a little bit these last few weeks for work, so I'm a little behind, but I'll try to do something before the next meeting.
Sounds good. And then I think, Anne, you had mentioned that we have a collection box that came to us through a vendor.
Yeah, so we have a vendor that works with Covanta, and he's a company called Complete Recycling. So he's the person who takes our light bulbs and our mercury from our mercury shed at the pit. So his company was, well, it's not his company, but the company he works for was purchased by TerraCycle. So he stopped by the other day for a meeting and dropped me off a pretty good sized box. It probably goes up to my chest. That we can fill, and he said we could choose what we wanted to put in it, and it's prepaid for free, which is pretty nice. I looked the box up on their website. It's like $150 to $180 box. So we can do whatever we'd like to put in it. And I can hold it at town hall. We can bring it to the sustainability on the 14th, June 14th. He is going to get me municipal pricing to buy additional boxes. So I'll look in to see what that pricing is. But he's a great guy. His name's Jeff, and we have a box.
So we could put into it whatever we want of the things that TerraCycle collects.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we'd have to follow what they did, and it would be all the same thing. Like we can't collect toothpaste, electronics, and coffee pods. But yes.
Right. And it probably makes sense to do something that's smaller, right? If it was electronics, like 3 people bring in their broken
That's what
toaster and the box is full. So
yeah, I felt like 2 keyboards and then we're full. Not really, but it's pretty good sized box. But yes, I thought if we could do something smaller so more people could participate, then the better.
Yeah, I suggested the coffee bags and the coffee pods because they're small and everybody uses them. And I think if we collect them at the representatives sustainability day in June, that would get, a lot of people participating since they're dropping off stuff anyways. And since the town hall, is not always open, especially on the weekend, so.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, great idea. And if it's not full, we can always bring it to town hall and leave it out in the front lobby and have people fill it up for the finish. But I think we'll probably get enough to fill it that Saturday.
Right. And if we overfilled, if we get a mad rush on that recycling day, we could hold it to get another box if we
Cool.
we
And
thought it
I'll
was worth
purchase
it.
the box. If we
Sure.
do it, I can purchase it with RDP points.
Okay, well, if coffee pods, oh, go ahead, Christina.
Just another thought. I think they have one for beauty products, like, and I think I saw it at some point, but just for a secondary option. I know a lot of people have those and can't get rid of them, in an environmentally friendly way. So just putting that out there.
There's a lot of stores that collect beauty products like Ulta and Sephora, so
Oh, okay. So then
they have
that's,
boxes there for different.
oh, okay, perfect. So that's great.
Oh, we should add that to our list. If you could send me a few that are nearby, we could add that to our list on the website. That's a good call. Okay. Next, we can talk about some of the upcoming events. So the first one coming up is the STEAM night in April for the kindergarten through 4th grade. We had talked about that a little bit last time. We're getting to the close enough in timing that it would be great to get a couple of folks who are available and want to raise their hand to participate in that event. And that event is, I'm frantically searching my notes, April 15th.
I could help with that.
They actually give you the timing.
It's tax day, just for folks' reference.
5:30 to 7 p.m.
Is that a Tuesday?
It is.
Okay. Yeah, I could maybe, my kids are both at Galvin, so they could maybe help out as well.
Great.
I should be able to help.
I can probably help as well.
Wonderful. All right. So that was Rebecca, Christina, and Robin. Wonderful. Sounds good. And do the three of you want to just talk amongst yourselves and figure out a particular topic or thing that you want to bring? I think last year we realized that the seeds were a big hit, giving out, like, it wasn't even the focus of the table, but giving out free packets of pollinator seeds got the kids very excited. So I think we had talked about maybe doing something in that realm. But you're also welcome to just take that as a go-do and talk amongst the three of you, since the three of you are not a quorum. And
Sounds good.
From last year?
sorry,
Where were the seeds from last year?
someone went to an event and came home with a bunch of seeds.
Oh,
Robin,
okay.
was that you?
No, it's more my mother. It was an organization in Waltham that has relocated, I think now to Lexington. Grow Native Massachusetts, I think, was the provider of the seeds. So and then I think I scooped them up on Marketplace or something, free. So I'll keep my eyes out for them. Because do we use up all last year's?
There
I
might
know
be a couple left.
I
but
know
pretty
germination is
much.
not as good. I'll do a little digging to see if anyone's giving out free seeds. It isn't uncommon for, like, Home Depot has done, stuff like that. It's a matter of timing.
I know that woman that runs the Greenwood School Garden too. They harvest some of their seeds and
Oh,
share
nice.
them. They do it they sell some
Oh,
as
they
a
sold them.
fundraiser.
Yes.
Yeah, but she might she also works for Mass Audubon. She might have ideas. If they don't have some, I can reach out to her too.
There's also the seed library at the BB library. I know they get some donations of seeds, but I'm not sure from where. So they might have a connection too, although they might want that connection for their own seed library and not to give to us. Did everyone know that there's a seed library at the BB?
I learned it on Facebook when you posted it.
Yes, you can bring seeds. You can also take seeds. They have little envelopes you could write, like, these were my pumpkins this year. They like sun. Okay, well, so that sounds good on the STEAM night for you three. I would say take it amongst yourselves. You're empowered. I have the bag with the tablecloth and, some of our other little signs and things, so I can get that to one of you in advance for putting that up at the table, or I can swing by that day also with it, either way. Sound good? All right. And then the next event is I think the tentative name is Green May Day, with the Warrior Cleanup Crew. So we talked about this last time. We've got approval from the Galvin principal. So this is the May 3rd collaboration with the litter pickup from the cleanup crew and us having sustainability showcase of some sort. So the Galvin has agreed that there's nothing competing on that day. As well as Tim said that date is fine. We won't have access to the Galvin, we'll just be outside. And so there'll be a litter pickup, and then we'll have tables with organizations. I've been starting to email some of the orgs, and oh boy, let's see, can I rattle off some of who's excited about this? Take all of this as tentative. I realize this call is recorded. Some folks still need to take it back to their meetings and make sure that folks are available. But generally, other than us and the Warrior Cleanup Crew, Friends of Lake Quannapowitt is excited to participate. Jen hooked us up with Gas and Light Department. They're going to participate. Thank you, Jen. The Wakefield Garden Club is very interested. They have their meeting coming up to check and see whether they can just show up with a table or actually do some sort of demo about gardening. The Rotary Club is interested. They just recently did a planting seedlings thing, and they will bring along one of their No Mow May signs to promote the No Mow May philosophy. They are not making more of those signs. That was like a one-time thing. So we could talk about whether we want to continue the no mow signage concept. And then the library, the BB library is interested to attend and show off. They might even bring along their seed library to show this. It's like reasonably portable, and talk about they have a library of things for people to borrow, all sorts of things, and talk about some of the stuff they do. So those are the folks so far that are in. And Anne, I assume that the DPW will come and participate, and we can talk more about what we might need from you. Ellie, yes.
I also talked to Recycling Club, and they said they would be really interested. Can I confirm the date? What did you say that was?
Yes, it's Saturday, May 3rd, and
Okay,
it's 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m.
10 a.m. to 1:30. Okay, I'll confirm that date and time with them, but they were really interested and excited too.
Fantastic. Okay.
I just thought of, did you touch base with the Conservation Commission?
I just sent them an email today, so I've not heard back from them. I also have emailed the Safe Streets Working Group and the Farmers Market. So waiting to hear from those folks. Yes, Cheyenne.
Not sure. Do you want our group to kind of have a food rescue just to introduce that we have that actually part of our district?
Absolutely, that would be great.
The reason why I asked is because I had an opportunity to actually host a table at one of the Malden Lunar New Year event, and there were actually a lot of families that actually stopped by and asked me about food.
Right. Right. I mean, we could have that food rescue stuff as part of the ESC table, or we could separately just we do food rescue and have a table that is just that if we had other ESC things that we want at our ESC table.
Yeah, we'll be next to each other.
Sounds good. Wonderful. I'll send you a note with the dates and stuff to make sure it's on your calendar. And as far as the DPW, one of the things that we had talked about was having like the things that we want to do to try to make it a very green, sustainable event. Are y'all able to do barrels and like compost barrel, but also recycle barrel, that sort of thing?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Are you able to do tables?
Sure.
Cool. Okay, I can give you a count a little closer on how many tables. And then I submitted the thing for the town, like reserve a space. It wasn't clear to me that we needed to, but we did it anyway, just in case, for reserving the space outside of the Galvin. And I checked off the box for, yeah, we'd like the water truck. One thing I wanted to bring up is we've heard in past instances, not of events of ours, but other events that have taken place where the water truck has been there and either then resulted in a whole lot of plastic cups getting thrown in the trash, which is obviously a bummer, or it just not being sort of monitored and then like unsanitary kind of things happen. So if we want to have the water truck there, I want to make sure that we do it in a exemplary way so that, like, I sure would hate to have us put together an event and then have it maligned for having been unsustainable, unsanitary, etc. So we can also just tell people to bring their own water and we don't do the water truck, but I wanted to bring that up as a topic that we should think
Oh,
about.
You could just say, bring your own water bottle. I mean, that's what Maggie does for the cleanups anyways.
Right, and she usually does either like a couple of the plastic, jugs of water.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we should certainly tell people to bring their own water bottles. That's, yeah, for sure. Anne?
So I was just gonna say, I need to check on the water truck because they are charging $350 for the water truck to cover the overtime if it's on a weekend, like for
Okay.
a weekend event. So I need to just see if I can get that waived.
We also have a budget and we got $500 from,
And let's see if I can get it waived.
okay. or reduced. Maybe we go halvesies on it. We could, yeah, we can see.
Wait.
Okay.
Is that
Sounds good.
Does that cost even for municipal organizations or?
Well, I think that's why Anne's trying to get it waived. 'Cause they're
Yeah, I
municipal.
gotta see. It is an overtime issue, because they have to have someone come in and clean it and get it, fill it, and get it out there, and then bring it back and clean it and all that. So this time of year, the budgets are always a little tight, but let me see what I can do.
It's good. And I thought, we should certainly tell people to bring their own water bottles. We can have some compostable cups, for, in case there's anyone who doesn't have a water bottle, we can at least make sure that they then get into the green barrels and not into the trash. And then I don't know if folks have other thoughts on ways to make it a good sustainable event. I think one of you had mentioned last time, like making the t-shirts optional.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should talk to Maggie to make sure that we're on the same page as far as that goes, because I know in the past she's given out like single-use snacks. And the t-shirts. So I think we just need to talk to her and be on the same page with that.
Yep.
So yeah, I think we should encourage people to carpool, bike, walk, that type of thing.
Yep.
When you talk to Safe Rides, do you want to ask if they can, what do they call it? Their
The bike valet.
yeah. So a place, I assume Galvin has bike racks, but just to have a little more closer and promote their.
I can certainly ask them. Yep. Yeah, the Galvin does have certainly like right near where we would be on the Main Street side. There's a couple rows of bike racks, I think. But would be good to have more. Other ideas on that?
So are you talking about like the grassy area on the side there, right next to
Yeah, like between the Main Street entrance and the basketball courts, which is where we met for the last of the cleanups.
Yeah, is that where the cleanup's gonna be though?
That's where we'll start. That's where the showcase will be. And then the cleanup, people just fan out all over the Galvin and across the street and into the fields and
Yeah, I think as far as the groups that are exhibiting there, we should, tell them not to give away too much like plastic
Yep.
doohickeys and keep the paper give outs to a minimum, and if they are giving out, use recycled paper, stuff like that.
Agreed on all of that. I also reached out to the folks with those games, the Mass Energize, they have their sort of carnival games. They are available that day with one caveat, which is that there's a group in Medfield, not Medford, Medfield, that has already reserved them for the very next day. So we can have the games with the caveat that then someone needs to drive them to Medfield after our event is over that evening. So wanted to put that out there and see if there's anyone who is excited about driving the games to Medfield.
Where is Medfield?
Yeah. I see everyone is like looking that up. It's out there.
It's southwest of the city, further than Hopkinton in that direction. If I got it right, but I'm pretty sure that's Medfield out there.
I mean, I think on a Saturday afternoon, it would be a good 45-minute drive, but at least it'd be a Saturday afternoon and not.
It could be an hour. If I got my geography right. So
I'm not sure that's environmentally a good idea.
Right, someone with an EV.
Environmentally worth it.
I mean, we can skip them. We don't need to have the
Yeah.
games. They're not.
I was
critical to the event.
thinking that we could take the opportunity to have a little bit of a engagement activity around climate planning at this event.
Mhm.
So we could have people let us know like what kind of, climate change issue they're worried about, what they want Wakefield to be working on, if we were to create a climate change plan, that type of thing.
Sounds great. Like have that be our tables thing. Sounds good. Was it consensus forgo the games?
I'm not sure. I mean, we could probably put together our own games
I mean, I've got cornhole I could bring. It's not
instead of driving 2
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
I was also thinking we could use the event as maybe a collection for a future swap.
Mhm. Yeah. Be great. You should just pick what thing we want to be collecting. If we want to be encouraging people to bike or walk or carpool, it should be a swap of something not too huge, probably.
That's a good point.
Like, don't come with your trunk full of sports equipment. But yeah, that sounds good. If you want to put your heads together on a collection or swappable thing, that'd be good. Because then we also, and this sort of segues into the next piece, we have Representative Kate Lippert-Garabedian's Recycling and Sustainability Day, which is an annual thing. That is on June 14th, so about 6 weeks after this event. And that's where we collected the sports equipment at that one last year to then have the swap at a little bit later. So we can certainly do more collecting there. So we sort of have two opportunities to collect or swap stuff.
Yeah, now that you mentioned the whole walking or car biking thing to the May thing, it probably makes more sense to collect at the June event.
Depending on what it is.
I was gonna say, but it would be a great opportunity to advertise the upcoming so people can
Mhm.
collect and save and sort.
Yeah, and we should advertise all of what's getting collected at Kate's event, not just what we're collecting, but so Anne and I were on a call with Kate and some of the green team guy whose name is escaping me at the moment, about that event, and like they want to promote especially the styrofoam collection. Like we didn't get, I mean, hopefully there's just less styrofoam floating around, but they're happy to collect a lot of styrofoam. They've got various other things you have to pay to dispose of, but we can have the whole laundry list of stuff that can be collected for recycling at that event, at the May event, so people can start thinking like, oh, I do have an old toaster in my basement I should get rid of.
So, I mean, I think we should start advertising now about that because people are,
Yes.
getting stuff all the time, like in the.
Oh, for sure. Yes. As soon as we have the list from, this is literally yesterday. The call was literally yesterday. He's going to send us a list and then we'll absolutely start
But
promoting.
like, even if we know styrofoam is gonna be collected, we should start promoting that because that's
Yeah.
the type of thing that just.
Yeah.
You never know when you're gonna get it, and.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds good. Do folks have good ideas for where and how to promote it? I feel like lately our Facebook is getting less eyeballs as people spend less time on that platform. We have our email list, so we'll certainly, when we have the full list, can send out a big announcement there.
And when is the next DPW newsletter go out?
The April water bills.
So if we were to ask to get on the newsletter, what would the deadline be?
Last Friday.
I see.
Really good thought, though. I mean, we can certainly have, we'll have the town email blast that Jen does. We can certainly have that go out in email, but
Should we ask like some PTO folks to put it in their newsletters?
Yeah. Generally, they're pretty good about putting a flyer about something in the newsletter.
Yeah, I think the Walton folks were really receptive to the composting one, and they were like, any sustainability, environmental things, send them our way.
So
So
yeah, that's great. We should definitely do that. Cheyenne?
Yeah, I think Lillian just said it basically on the PTO.
Okay.
They have like the Facebook pages, they also have the newsletter. And I think that's a way to kind of target young families, of course. As far as the other, like older adults that have, no longer have kids at the young school, I think that's just have to resort to regular mediums. I have a question though, because Earth Day is actually, as you know, the 22nd this year in 2025, but is the May event in place of the Earth Day? Is that the entire?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Earth Day observed. Earth Day is over April vacation week, so we thought April vacation week and the weekends on either side of that, probably a lot of people might be traveling, so we thought the subsequent weekend was a better choice.
All right, makes sense. Thank you.
So we can certainly like talk about Earth Day and celebrate Earth Day at that event. We should absolutely acknowledge that it is for Earth Day. It is just a little bit late.
We should ask if WCAT can do a slide for it
Yeah. Yep.
in their scrolling,
Their scrolly
whatever.
thing. Totally. It's a great idea. Yep.
Do we want to, I know we've talked about this in the past, set up an Instagram account? Or was there some rule that we couldn't?
No, I think that one was possible, and we had a prior student on the committee who was trying to help us get that set up, and then it didn't work, and I think it just required someone was going to need to go sit with Jen and get it figured out. But because it's the same login as Facebook, I think that is okay. I think what we were not allowed to do was a TikTok, because that's in a different space and wasn't in the like our Facebook gets auto recorded for freedom of information forever, keep all your records kind of stuff. So I think Instagram is okay. Do folks feel like Instagram is getting more eyeballs lately, and that if we did that, it would be helpful.
Yeah, I think the more platforms that we're, you know, advertising, the better.
Is there someone who's excited to be the person who posts things? Because that's that's one where I'm not exactly eager to sign up if it's continuing to just be me adding things on Facebook,
you
unless
can
someone has a
post-
good way to.
You can post to Instagram and Facebook at the same time.
Yes, but can you do that from the thing? You can tee them up ahead of time?
I don't know about that.
Okay. Well, we can explore that.
I was gonna say regarding sports swaps that like reaching out to some of the leagues once we have information, you know, like soccer, everybody to save your equipment and so that they can be aware they can share with each other.
Yeah. Is sports equipment, like, was that, seemed like that was a big hit. So is that something we want to do another collection of?
I think so. A lot of people asked when we were doing the next one, so.
Yeah, my family's ready.
Great. Cheyenne, are you raising your hand for sports equipment, or did you want to say
Oh,
something?
sorry, I just want to say something.
Okay.
I did feel that the sports list, when I looked at it at least a year or two ago, I can't remember the time anymore, but it's a little restricted. And I feel like, oh, I had some stuff to donate, but then I was like, oh, shoot, it's not on this list. You know, so that was just my only reaction when I saw the flyer. Oh, that was a great idea.
Were there, having done it, are there things that we would either add to that list or take off of the list of what we want to collect? And we wound up with a lot of certain things.
I think we could totally revisit the list. We got a lot of really old ice skates, like a ton of them. Um, and probably could expand to some things, you know, that we didn't even think of. But yeah, I think we could revisit it.
Sounds good. All right. Well, Lily is lead on that. If folks have ideas and suggestions, I'll send them her way. But yeah, at whatever point we have even a little bit of insight into that, we should, to Rebecca's point, that's a great idea. We should start telling all of the leagues so that people are hanging on to things and keeping them for when the swap happens. Cool. Anything else on either of those events, the May Earth Day event or the Kate's recycling event?
Are you looking for volunteers to man the
Oh,
tables
yes.
for those?
Yes, for sure.
I can help with those.
I can help
both,
too.
but with both of them?
Probably both of them. Definitely the 14th, probably the third too.
I
I'll
can
follow
help
up
with
with
the
you.
third.
Anyone else for the third?
I can help it on the third as well.
Okay, and I will as well. And then for June, that was Lily. And who else for the June 14th? I can probably do that. They did suggest, someone on the call with Rep. Lippert-Garabedian yesterday did suggest that we do a litter pickup at that event too, that we invite the Warrior cleanup crew to come to that one and have a pickup going on around the high school area at that time. We've not reached out to the Warrior cleanup crew yet about that, but I'm talking with them in a couple days, so I could mention that. That may be too much, but it's a different spot, so maybe it's fine. I think we would not have responsibility for that.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna do a litter cleanup at the high school, given the construction site adjacent, maybe a great opportunity to reach out to the contractor to see if their crew wants to engage, since they may be responsible for some of that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. If it's going to happen, we could certainly reach out. Cool. Anything else on those events? Or we move on to other topics?
I did reach out to the youth council asking if they were interested in doing a school supplies collection for
Oh,
the
yeah.
14th. Yeah, I did reach out to them. I wasn't able to make our meeting. It was today. And I haven't gotten an email back, but Ali's he floated that out to them and he's gonna get back to me on that. So I'll get back to you once I hear about that, but it's on our radar.
Great. Sounds good. Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Bye, Cheyenne. Moving on from the events, I've got next is our liaison updates. So we don't have Kevin, so no school committee update unless anyone has any school committee related things. Oh, Rebecca, you had mentioned or you emailed me about anti-idling.
Yeah, I mean I wasn't at the last meeting, and I don't remember what I did look at the minutes, but I don't remember if there was an update about like the signage.
There are signs.
Okay, there are. I haven't seen them, but they're out.
There is at least a sign. I believe there is at least a sign per school. I keep forgetting to look for the one at Woodville. I
Yeah.
saw with my eyes the one at Dolbear. I don't know where. I should just go walk around. I don't know where the one at Galvin is.
Oh yeah, they don't seem to be so prominent because I haven't seen them yet, but I'm glad they're out. I was just thinking because Megan Webb had sent out a message about traffic flow and mentioned specifically idling.
Mhm.
It seems like that, if she were to mention like this is a specific law, actually,
Mhm.
perhaps that would be helpful. I didn't know you know, if I respond to her or what's the best way to like reach out to administrators about, kind of making that message more prominent, I guess.
That's a good question, and it is too bad Kevin's not here because I feel like he was maybe reaching out to some of the schools to suggest that they talk about it. So maybe, I don't know if you want to reach out to Kevin and ask him if he's spoken with them, and if not, then you could reach out to the school and say, in the next one of these, could you mention, that this anti-idling is in fact a law.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah. And let's all, like, whoever's going to any of the different schools, take a look and see if you can find the sign. If they got placed in especially non-prominent locations, maybe we could make some suggestions about them being in better spots.
So
I know it's a
Rebecca,
bit of
what did the newsletter say about it? Just to not
It's
try
she's
not to do it.
yeah, there are probably 3 paragraphs to to her message, and it said, um, don't I think it said something about parents not driving through the parking lot, in the wrong direction, or following the rules about travel through the parking lot, and that idling and incorrect traffic patterns are harmful to the kids, something like that.
It was, from my read, it seemed like it was more about sort of efficient traffic flow than about the harms of emissions.
Yeah, that was definitely not the point, but it seemed like right because she actually used the word idling in the message. I felt like this is a chance to at least put in one sentence to raise awareness.
Good. Anything else school related? Okay. Youth Council. Ellie, did you have anything else that you want to share?
Not really. We're still, we're making progress with our social media campaign, still trying to get that up and running, but I'm talking to our like social media coordinator and we're just
Right.
finalizing some things, to try and communicate to students about idling laws and the benefits of carpooling to try and increase the sustainable transportation at the high school.
Wonderful. That sounds great. Thank you.
I was thinking like for April, since April's Earth Month, maybe you wanna do some sort of carpool competition or something like that. during that month?
Yeah, that would be a great idea. Yeah, we could definitely try and get something like that up and running. I'll talk to Michaela, that's our social media coordinator, and see if she has, any good ideas for like, how exactly to organize that. But that seems like something that could, be really beneficial, especially since that would keep it going throughout the whole month. So that's like in people's minds more.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a good way to do it as a competition, but even if you did it as like a track, I'm thinking those, the like thermometer looking things where, like you mark off every time someone carpool, like, can we fill the, can we get, I don't know, however many, 2,000 avoided rides in Earth Month? I don't know. I don't have the foggiest idea what would be a reasonable number.
Yes.
400 kids in the school?
Yeah, but only juniors and seniors drive is the thing.
Yes, true. But uh, other kids could carpool, like you could still get a ride
I
with.
mean, yes, they could still carpool, but like those it's like less of an issue because those kids aren't like driving themselves and then idling in J lot or like just
Yeah, but
driving.
if they're getting rides from their parents, then that would be
Yeah, we
reduction.
can definitely like include those, yeah. Though I do know like some of those kids are also like taking the bus or walking or stuff. I think those kids are more likely to be doing things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something we can offer, like with the funds that we have, that would be an incentive? Like thinking like a gift card or something, like something.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a great
That's
idea.
a good
To
idea.
like
Yeah.
cards or, Uber Eats or whatever you guys like. Something like that. And even for the older one, like juniors and seniors, I'm not so familiar with it, but it's like if they win that, like, can they get a closed parking spot for the next month or like something where it's like they're motivated and excited and there's something tangible at the end.
Yeah. On That's a really great idea. I love that you brought that up. I can talk to school. I don't know if a close parking spot will be
There's
available.
whatever you guys think.
Yeah, but a gift card might be a great idea, and it could be like, oh, I don't know, like show that you carpooled, tag youth council, and then
Yeah,
if you get
exactly.
the most days in April, then you get the gift card. That could be a really fun way of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, like people could take pictures of themselves, like
Mhm.
pulling, like.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Love
I'm
that.
just
That's
writing that
awesome.
down. Gift card carpooling competition. That is a really great idea. Would you guys be able to provide a gift card?
We certainly have some budget. We could do a gift card or a couple of gift cards for a couple of winners. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Uh-huh.
Cool. Great idea, Christina. I guess Ellie, you tell us what they would want a gift card to.
Okay, got it. I'll, talk to the youth council, see if anyone has any, strong feelings and get back to you shortly. Okay?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Oh, quick addition, but maybe we can do like local businesses like the boba place or like something like that. And then
That
we
would
can
also be really great. Yeah, getting to like promote the local businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could even ask them. Sometimes you can ask them and they'll just give you a gift card because I know music always does that for our like calendar raffle. So, because it like also promotes them and it's like, hey, look, local business. So, we could see if any are just like willing to give us gift cards because I do know some have like been willing to do that in the past in order to help the community.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. Anything else on the youth council side?
Nope, I think that's all it.
Awesome. Thank you, Ellie. How about anything else from the DPW, Anne?
So our rain barrel and earth machine sale is well underway. We've already sold several of both, which is great. I believe the pickup date's May 21st, so people have a little bit of time, but hopefully they'll get on board. We have some information hanging up at Town Hall, and Jen at McDonald has been sending out some information on the web. I met with the solar people yesterday. So we have a project manager and things are starting to get underway. Once production starts, it'll be 10 to 12 weeks and then we will be up and going. So pretty quick. We worked out a staging area. At most 15 people be working on it at one time. They're gonna need a crane to get the items up on the roof, which will happen on a Saturday. And it'll go from the back where the buses pick up. So they'll go up there. So I think we're probably 4 or 5 weeks out before we start seeing some work done, but then we will start seeing a lot of work done. And they are on schedule to finish by June 30th.
That's awesome.
And then I do need to give a little update on the decarbonization roadmap, and if
That's
people
actually
could-
on the agenda in the
Oh,
next section.
all right.
So yes, we'll get to that.
All right, moving on.
Cool. Good. Yeah. That's great on the solar. Anything else, DPW? Anyone else have any DPW topics or questions? Oh, where's the automatic truck, trash truck situation? I ran to the window when I heard the truck and it was just the regular truck.
So I met with them today. A lot of meetings this week. So they're doing well. So they're going through training. So the Corrado truck is what we have. So the in the front is where the hopper is, and then it pushes it back once it's full. So they've been training. It takes them sometimes, he's telling me 20 days to train on that because the people get used to the arm. But so about half the town's being done with the automated and the other they're still working on. But they're working to get everyone trained and going. So that's been going fairly well. I asked him how he did. He gave us a public school B, which I'm not sure what that actually means, but I thought I took the B, so I was like, all right, great. So they think within 30 days or so they'll start putting they're like tags on the trash barrels saying like you didn't do this right, or it was too close, or the wrong things were in here, that kind of thing. So that'll probably start in 30 days. So people will start getting notices to see how they're doing. He said overall, fairly well. I think we're doing pretty well. Most people have it. One of the things I did read on Facebook that some people were having trouble because the recycling people were coming first and then leaving their recycling barrels all over the place. And then they were concerned because it wasn't giving them enough room to pick up. He told me most of the issues with room is overhead, the overhead wires, overhead trees, that kind of thing. Not so much the other stuff on the ground. And now that the snow's gone, they did have a rough couple weeks when we had some snowbanks out there, and people were literally putting their barrels on the top of the snowbanks. So that makes it a little harder. But I did think it was a great career for those who spend a lot of time gaming because you do a lot of control work on those machines. So I can set up some summer internships over at the Republic. So, but all is well.
So if somebody didn't put their bin out correctly, they don't pick up the trash.
So currently now they are picking it up because we got to give people time to get used to it. And then they're going to pass out the tags and then they're going to stop picking them up. You know what I mean? We have to give people some time to get used to this. So.
As far as like wrong stuff in the bin, like what are they looking out for?
Yeah, they don't want to see, bottles, cans,
Right. That's
they
what I
want-
was wondering, if they're
they
looking
want
for
that to be
recycled
recycled.
items.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And so they're actually working on a project. They're shutting down for a little while their that place on Route 1, Greenworks, and they're doing a $24 million upgrade. And then what they're going to do is they're going to take bottles and cans, no, bottles and plastic bottles, and they're going to take those out of the stream and send those to their own plant and use the bottles to be reused as bottles again and not, part of a playground materials or part of carpeting or that. They're going to be back to bottles, which is pretty cool because that doesn't happen now and it seems to me to be a shame. So they're working on that and they're hoping that that'll help the price of bottles and the commodity to go up.
Awesome.
And
We'll have to do another tour of it when it's up and
Yeah,
running.
absolutely. That
Field
is
trip.
very interesting. Yes.
And the pit's scheduled to open the first Saturday in April.
April 5th.
And the cardboard bin will be there April 5th.
Empty. It'll be empty and ready to go. That in the metal dumpster.
Woohoo. Okay. I drove by
Fantastic.
there last weekend on a Saturday and the gate was open. I was a little confused.
Yes, many people sneak in when the gate is open.
Well, it's hard not to be, I got some branches waiting. So
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Anne. That's all great stuff. We don't have our town council rep, so no updates there. Oh, other than, you probably all got the email. The town council is entertaining the Friends of Lake Quantapowhat's suggestion of fishing line collection, and there's an open comment period. So if you have a comment, send it to Sherry during that comment period. Did y'all get my email about that? Okay. So that is before the town council for their decision soon. How about any updates from Gas and Light, Jen?
Sure. I have two. One is, you may all be aware, but our president's work with regard to Canadian tariffs and federal grants will or could potentially have an impact on WMGLD, depending on how this all goes. We are monitoring that. We do get energy from Canada, and it is hydroelectricity. So we would, if a tariff applies to Canadian imports of electricity or energy, supporting electricity, we would be immediately impacted. I estimate it'd be around 5% of our portfolio, so it's not everything, but it's a chunk. So I'm just keeping people posted as this goes, and every day is a different story. So we're all over the place right now. Hopefully it will eventually settle out and we'll make a decision what's happening here.
I just saw that that Hydro-Quebec like completely cut off sending power to the US.
Yeah, that's what I mean by every day is a different story.
Okay.
Like literally we wake up and we're like, yes, no. So, I don't think anything has actually happened. There's been a lot of talk and this and that, but no price impacts have actually happened yet. So yeah. That just letting people know that would have implications for us. We also were awarded a federal grant last year to replace gas pipeline in town for $1.54 million. That is also on hold currently, and we don't know if we're going to end up receiving it or not. So another impact to us directly. So those are the updates that I have right now, and obviously we'll keep updating people as we go.
Jen,
Yeah.
what's the latest with the battery between the high school and the Voc?
Yeah, so they are basically they've done a lot of the I'm not going to use the right terminology, but I'll just use terminology that's not like industry specific so we can all understand. They've done the foundation and everything. They are putting in the battery. The battery is set to be in by middle of the year so that we can use it to save costs during peaks this summer. So it'll be up and running, hopefully by June or so. That's the goal, and it'll be the first thing running. And then everything else will follow that and become operational before, again, at or just slightly before when the Northeast Metro Tech is operational. So that's the first school to be completed. Did I answer your question? Okay.
That's very exciting.
The second update I have is that our 5-member board agreed to all sign a letter with comments on the clean heat standard. So I will share that after this call. That was at our last board meeting on March 4th, so not about a week ago. So it's pretty fresh, but I will send it to you to take a look. I think our primary concerns, my primary concerns, and I think we all had consensus points we agreed on, but we might express it slightly differently if we were to sit here and say it to you. So my primary concerns are impacts to electricity rates, because some of the biggest costs from this policy would be on the electric side. And if we're trying to electrify, Increasing electricity costs more than other fuel costs is really not going to help us out with that. So that's one of my big concerns. There were other concerns too about, how much of the effort to electrify homes or transition homes away from fossil fuel heat falls on, ratepayers, electric and gas ratepayers, basically. And are there other less expensive ways to do this than incentives? So those were some of the key points in the letter, but I will send to you so you can read it for yourself.
Who was that to? The state?
Yes, so this regulation is put out by the Department of Environmental Protection, DEP. So it went to them, but we CC'd our senator and representatives as well. And I believe it will appear in the item and on our website and things like that. So you may see it around.
All right. Anything else from the gas and light side?
Nothing else for me.
Any questions for Jen from other folks? Cool. All right. Our next topic was to do a brief update on the decarbonization roadmap and the town council discussion of it from a couple weeks ago. And do you want to give some updates?
Yeah, so we finally got our draft of our decarbonization roadmap back from CTI. And then it really is just a draft. But anyway, it went to town council, and then town council put it on the agenda. And Joe Conway and I went, and they voted to not continue it. So they voted 4-3 to not continue with even finishing it. So I think it's too bad, because I think that it has some potential there. There was a lot of cutting and pasting, and it was used, from other ones they had done. But I think a lot of consultants do that now. And I think we could have put our personal twist on it. So right now it's on hold. I had talked to Dylan at the DEP and mentioned it to him. He actually, after that, had sent me some of his comments and changes. And then I did hear from George today. I haven't gotten back to him yet, but George is actually the person from the consultant. So I honestly don't know where I go from here.
Yeah, and just to add a little color for folks who didn't watch the rather excruciating town council discussion about it, there was a proposal on the agenda about the process that would be followed for completing the remaining steps to become a climate leader. So how to continue the decarbonization roadmap, the process for a zero emissions vehicle first policy, and for the net zero by 2050 pledge. So that was put forward from sort of more procedural. Here's, it would go to town council, it would be discussed by the, like who would lead different steps. Primarily, it was like to be led by the DPW, and the process was approved from a procedural standpoint of like, yes, this would be the process that these folks would follow to do these remaining steps for climate leaders. But then the discussion of the actual decarbonization roadmap, and that piece was then voted down, which was unfortunate because it seemed like there was actually a useful process to be followed, and the draft was truly, in fact, a draft and had more work to be done. So yeah, so I think we're sort of at the step of what to do next. It was clear in that meeting that, or it was clear, it seemed to me, my interpretation in that meeting, I guess I should say, is that they did not want us to continue down the path of the decarbonization roadmap as it was going, but that they also felt that, Anne and Joe could do just as well doing it themselves and with our help and support. So whether we continue to make a plan that is not that roadmap, but is a plan for how these buildings should get, next steps in energy efficiency and solar and all those further things. Like, they did not tell us not to continue making good plans. In fact, I think they basically said, and DPW should continue to make good plans. I think in part they were just unimpressed by what the consultants had come back with. So,
And did you ask Dylan if it was possible for the DPW to finish that roadmap and that it would still count for climate leaders if so?
He was going to talk to his superior and see what we should do next. So
Yeah.
I'm waiting to hear back on that.
Is there a place where we can see this draft? I'm assuming it was
oh
part
yeah,
of
it was posted
big
in the,
materials. Okay.
yeah, it's in the I can send you a link. It was in
I'm
the
just
town
trying to
council
get
meeting
my
materials.
arms around how much more work needs, like where we are as a town and how much more work needs to be done. So I want to get a sense for what's the lift here. And also how prescriptive it is, yeah, what's in it? Like what kind of information is in it that we could use? So, okay, I'll
So-
take a look.
So just so you know, we hadn't met with them yet. They got our list of our buildings. They went to each building. They went in July and September, visited the buildings, and then they sent this information. Yes, it's totally a draft and needs a lot of work. I think one of the things that upset the town council was that I think Sturbridge was listed in it 6 times. So someone just didn't do a find and write down, put Wakefield in where those were. But in the meantime, I had the building department start working on a list of our assets. So Greenwood School, the boiler's 18 years old. This is what kind of boiler it is, blah, blah, blah. The lights were then fixed. So we've started a master schedule of what we have going on, which I think is a great tool for us going forward. And then I think we can make decisions on, well, that boiler's only 8 years old, but the boiler over here is 23 years old, past its life, and that should be the next thing to go. And then we can start planning. So they're still working on that for me, which is great. Yeah, I think the roadmap can be updated easily using the format that they gave us. I think there's a lot, work to be done on it, but certainly we can use that as a template.
The number of times I read the Sturbridge climate action plan when we were meeting to put together a climate action plan, it's quite disappointing to hear that we pretty much could have just copied and pasted it. And then we would have been doing as good a job as a consultant.
I think the most disappointing to me was that's what they did, cut and paste, but they also took 8 months to get it to us. So I think if they had cut and paste and we got it in 2, it wouldn't have been hit so hard. But I think that's why the town council was upset, because it was 7 months into it.
Yeah.
There's also absolutely an opportunity to revisit any of this with future town councils, which may have a different makeup of individuals. As you hopefully know, there's a next election coming up in April 22nd, 4th, April 24th. So, there are future opportunities to engage with the town council, which may be, more inclined to support other actions. And I actually think the policy piece, not the roadmap itself, but the proposal for how we would go about stuff was not out of line. So I think we can continue to sort of entertain any of the steps along that. Although most of them land on Anne's poor shoulders, and Anne has lots of other things to do. So we may seek volunteers from this group to help with any of the various steps that we can to get continued pieces of that done. And I guess one question, maybe, I don't know if Anne or Melissa, if you know, or anyone else, there was a notion that the Green Communities program, of which we are a member in good standing, was going to transition to the Climate Leaders Program at some point, and like these were the steps, you know, you needed to do to convert to that Climate Leaders designation. Do we know a time frame on that?
I mean, what do you mean by transition to?
Like, we're a green community. And we'll continue.
I mean, there's separate qualifications for both programs. So we're a green community, we would stay a green community forever long. We want to be a green community. And
Okay.
then climate leaders is completely separate. You have to do all those requirements to be a climate leader.
Okay, I thought I was been under the impression that the green community piece was going to sort of wind down in favor of climate leaders at some point in the future, but I might have been completely mistaken on that.
You have to, since you have to be a green community in good standing, and it's a prereq, that means that they have to run concurrently. But also, I thought it was like every 6 months.
Okay.
There's like a window every 6 months or something that you have to. So like if you miss the July cutoff, you have to make the next cutoff, which is like, so it's like every six, but I don't know for how long that will continue.
I mean, it's possible that the Green Communities program is gonna, you know, be updated to, you know, be more stringent or, you know, whatever. So maybe that's what you heard.
I did ask Dylan if we didn't make the climate leader deadline for June, because that's when the next submission is, we could then apply again in December.
Other,
I mean, as far as the other requirements for climate leaders, for example, the net zero by 2050 commitment. It seems like we need to go to town meeting in order to get that established. So, you know, that would probably be, if we were to do that, something for fall town meeting. So just something to think about.
that might be something worth having as a topic at our Earth Day event in May, of sort of what people's perspective is on, like, do we think there'd be enough support to get that to pass? What questions do people have? Because I think a lot of it, and I think a lot of the discussion at town council was really about lack of understanding, right? Like just folks not feeling like we collectively as a town know enough about the costs of things, right? The cost of, you know, the electric vehicles, if we do the policy, the cost of putting solar on these buildings, and, you know, yes, there's rough stuff in the draft roadmap, but like sort of seeming like it was too spooky. It was too unclear and spooky to the town council. So I wonder if we could start gathering what it is that people would want to know to feel comfortable, for instance, at town meeting as a citizen voting for a net zero commitment.
Yeah, and it may be helpful to pencil out what is already in play or likely to be in play through regulation over the next couple of years, because there's a bunch that we're going to be required to do. It's not going to be our town meeting choice.
Right.
So eventually, like, all of this choice will be replaced by regulation that will require us to do it anyways. This is just us doing it earlier than that regulation would otherwise require. I mean, for example, all of our electricity will be net zero by 2050 per the state regulation that we currently have in place. So there's a chunk that will already be done.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point. So what's the delta that between what would what's going to happen anyway by state things, and what needs to happen for that commitment? Like, what would we be signing up for in addition? Yeah. Is there similar stuff on the vehicle side?
Good question.
I mean, there was a federal thing that Biden did that all vehicles should be non-fossil by 2030 or something, but that's gone out the window.
Yeah, but isn't there a mass regulation that, like, there is a mass regulation about EV sales and percent of total vehicles that are EVs by a certain year. So
Yeah.
yes, there are state regulations. I don't have them at my fingertips, but it would be good to kind of pull some of that together so we're loosely aware of like what's already in place and what this would do that's different or than that, you know.
I think that's a really good starting point on both of those, on the net zero and the vehicles, and then start to do some more education and awareness with both the town council members, including the new ones that get voted in, and sort of general public, like what's coming down the road anyhow from the state. Yeah. Melissa and Jen, are those things that you're feeling empowered to run with a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
I can help out with that. I mean, there are a number of pending or potential regulations we're aware of at WFGLD and tracking, so.
Sounds good. Thank you. I think it'll be good to get a little more information on that. And I would also just say there, Councillor Carney spoke very highly of us and our capabilities in the meeting, in that discussion, and believed both in our ability as a committee and in Anne and her department's capability of digging into this and doing smart things about it. So
He also voted for continuing with the decommissioning.
Yes, he was in favor of continuing. A couple other town council members spoke in our defense and stood up for us. So it was a tough one. I can suggest better things you could do with an hour though than watch it. Last topic before the last couple of administrative things is it was suggested that we might want to march or have a float or a something in the 4th of July parade. Would anyone be interested in us having a presence in the 4th of July parade this year? It takes place on July 4th. It's kind of a big stinking deal in this town, this 4th of July parade, if you're not aware, if you've been out of town in July or living under a rock.
What's the commitment on when you have to decide to request a spot in the parade?
I have no idea. That's a great question. Let me see if that was in my email about the topic. They would even reimburse us up to $200 for the materials to create some sort of float of some sort. The website has information. I don't know a timeline for when we need to commit. I can find out and let you all know.
I think a float would be hard, but if you wanted to have an alternative vehicles like drive-through, that could, like, I'm trying to think of things where you don't have to build something, with a lot of cost and time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether it's like a group of people on scooters and bikes or, I'm just thinking of something that like demonstrates that like other transportation option, I don't know, an interesting concept that doesn't require a lot of building of things.
Right, like there are those little cars that the Shriners do, their little cars. We could do
Right.
like a scooters, bikes, and roller skates.
Yeah, that could be interesting, like a how I get around town expo thing without my car. Because yeah, it seems like jumping in a car and driving down the street in a gas fueled vehicle feels like not.
Yeah. If
do you think we can get the Shriners to go battery on their little lawnmowers?
They smell bad. Like when they're driving around there, they do not smell good. The emissions off of those are rough.
Unless we're all in Tiana's car with the window rolled down or something.
I'm not the only EV in town,
No,
you guys.
you aren't.
We have
I'm
a
just
whole
kidding.
we have a whole showcase about it. I don't suppose Gas and Light would loan us one of their interesting looking vehicles. Could we deck
I
out
don't
the
think they're gonna let us drive a bucket truck that's worth
They can-
$500,000.
Sorry. They can drive it. We'll just like be on it celebrating that it's
If
electric.
you did a float behind the F-150 electric though, that the town has, right? I mean, or the Lightning rather. So, I mean, that's something. But I mean, the only challenge with the float in general is that you're using materials that are probably all going to waste immediately following. So putting together a green float would be challenging enough. So if, you know, if we could do something that was like completely compostable when we were done, that would be pretty cool. Or reusable in some way.
Float made entirely out of flowers. That's a thing, right?
I think there's a whole parade that demonstrates that.
Yeah, it's not within my creative skill set, but
Yeah.
I do think that's a thing.
But pulled by the F-150 Lightning. Gas and electric. Gas and light.
Mhm.
You know,
Are there
what was it?
ideas?
The Friends of the Lake. We had that conversation with an artist and was wondering if there was anyone who works in recycled material. You know,
That was the
found.
Arts Collective, right?
Yeah.
Not
I
Friends of
think
the
I
Lake.
might have been.
No, I
I
was thinking we
thinking
talked to
that-
them at the event.
Yeah, I
But
remember
yeah.
that artist came over and was talking about using recycled
'Cause they would
material
have-
for
they could have the
inspiration or something.
skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that would promote, you know, clean up the town in addition to like how you can help, you know, collect the materials to then turn it into an art display. I don't know.
We could have a don't idle sign and then point to everybody else in the whole parade.
I'm
Not sure that would go over well.
I mean, in the parade, you're generally not idling in one place for
Oh,
super
yes,
long.
they are. Where I sit, they idle because they bunch up and so they just.
All right. But yeah, that's a
But I
really
love
funny
that
idea. I
idea.
like that. Mhm.
A non-idling.
Sometime in the future when we have an electric school bus, we could do a float. Like we could do an electric school bus going down the way. We're not there yet. All right, well, noodle on that. I will find out when we need to say yes or no by. But if you have any creative ideas or think of something that would be fun for us to do that doesn't generate a whole lot of waste or emissions, that could be cool. Awesome. Okay, that was the last
We
of
could
those big-
suggest that the parade be like emission free.
we could suggest that. Could we make concrete suggestions about ways that they could do that?
Yeah, get all EVs. Or walk or bike.
Fair enough.
I think some of the kids' biggest things are like the parade of vehicles in the beginning, and you know, those are not EV at the moment. The fire trucks and you know, the antique fire trucks are not going to get converted. So
Yeah, I mean, so
That's true.
the EVs that are not available, like fire trucks, you know, we can't do that, but the ones
Yep.
that are available.
what if we, instead of having our own float, if working with the parade folks, we could highlight who is sustainable, right? So if there is a vehicle or someone who is doing something, whether it's an electric vehicle or something, that we somehow are able to celebrate that.
Mhm.
Like the police could drive their EV in the parade.
Right, and they may not advertise it. So is there a way for us to walk alongside them with a sign saying, "Did you know that this is EV or something?" You know, so it's It's instead of us having a group, but you're scattered, or the clowns, some of them are on fun bikes. They're like, look, no fossil fuels here, which is obvious, but just kind of a fun jest of a clown and so forth.
I like that. That's a cool idea. Maybe we should invite the organizer or two of the parade to come to one of our upcoming meetings and have a conversation with them about what we could do in that regard.
Yeah, I like the idea about like stats about the way this parade is improving its environmental footprint in 2025. Even if they're little ones right now. Because then, every year you would hope that you'd see progress and that would change, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we have stats on what vehicles and other non-vehicles were in it. Well, it was recorded. So I guess we could dig into that somehow. Okay. All right. Let's keep that one bouncing around in our heads and see what we can come up with. Cool. Cool. I'm gonna go slightly out of order with two of the matters not anticipated. I think I forwarded to y'all that we had a follow-up note about the rat poison topic from the bylaw folks. Right, I forwarded that to y'all, didn't I?
You forwarded it to me. I don't know if the whole group got it.
Yeah, we got it. You sent it
Okay,
to
great.
everyone.
Okay, so I forwarded you. I know nothing further about it, simply that the bylaw committee sent out further communication to various other town groups about the topic of rodenticides. And they CC'd us because, we had mentioned it in the past. I've heard nothing further on the topic, but just FYI that came around. And then have folks seen the documentary By Now, the one about overconsumption? It's worth a watch. And it's worth the watch. And then I thought, is it worth like doing a screening? Would we want to do like a movie night sometime as a public event? So it's all about like the ways in which fast fashion, free shipping, online shopping has created a heck ton of waste. Anyway, it's a very topical space for us.
Oh, I think a film screening is a good idea. I'm not sure if it's that one, but you do have to like get the rights to publicly show films, so.
Oh yes, I'm sure. Yeah. I was thinking maybe we could team up with WCAT on that, since they clearly know how to do those things, since they do like their movie night on the Common. That'd be interesting to folks to do at some point.
Yeah, maybe we could do it at the library, or I think that's something they would probably be interested in. Maybe, I don't know, their calendar gets pretty busy, but I think it's a good idea. Or maybe one of the summer movies could be, I mean, I know it's mostly kids movies, but like maybe there could be like an adult night where there's like an educational film or something.
Well, I'll reach out to the library and see if maybe that's something they could do without, like, maybe that's something that they have the capability to do, and we could co-host and help make discussion and advertise. Maybe I can make that something that they would take on. Okay, cool. Those are, and anyone else have any matters not anticipated? Anyway, it's on Is it on Netflix? I think it's on Netflix. If
I
you have
just
access
Googled
to
it. Yeah, it's Netflix.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. It's worth a watch, and then you will swear off buying anything ever again. All right, how about let's schedule our next meeting. Does Thursday, April 10th work for a significant number of us? Sounds good. All right, it'll be Thursday, April 10th, and we'll try to be back in person. TBD, we'll see.
I know I don't count for like consensus, but or quorum, sorry. But I can't make the 10th, but I can like follow up with you with email with those points we talked about today.
Sounds good. Thank you, Ellie. That's fine. Anything else? All right. I suggest that we wrap it up.
Suggest or you motioning?
I thought I wasn't supposed to motion. I motion we adjourn.
I second.
Thank you.
All right, hold on. Tiana,
Yes.
Elsa,
Yes.
Robin, yes. Lillian,
Yes.
Stefan,
Yes.
Anne,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Christina,
Yes.
Rebecca.
Yes.
Did I miss anyone? Nope. All right, motion having passed.
All right. We're adjourned. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you all so much. Talk to y'all soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good night.
Good night.